I'm Michael.
And we are checking out the Sherlock Files.
Yep. So, a lot of people don't know there are 6 of these box sets available. And each of these box sets includes 3 adventures in each.
3 cases to solve.
Yes. So, we have on display for you, we've already finished all of 1 and 2.
Yes.
So, we've passed those on to other people who might get enjoyment out of them. We have Volume 3. Volume 5. Hey, Indy, we need Volume 4. Volume 4 to Steph Hodge. Anyway, Volume 5. And then they've stopped doing the numbering. So, Volume 6 is Devilish Details.
Unless we have an early copy, which we might actually have an early copy that doesn't have it. I'm not sure.
Now, we have actually played one of these
the other day
from number 6.
And we scored our best ever.
We got 18. 18
we're
out of 20.
Do better
we're
than
never
that.
going to do better than
we're
that.
We're going to try and do better than that tonight, but we'll see.
So, what you do is, in the Sherlock Files, we won't give away any spoilers or anything. You flip over this Q system card, which basically tells you how to, what to do, which is usually flip over the top card and then read the first part of the adventure.
Yes.
And this is what we have. None of that is spoiler. Everything, notice there is a seal at the bottom.
Yes.
And you have to break the seal to get to the questions inside. Do not look at these questions ahead of time.
Right.
If you know what the questions are,
you'll know what to look for.
You probably know what cards to keep. So, Steph has 3 cards. Yeah, you're going to shuffle all the rest of the cards. Steph will have 3 cards, and I will have 3 cards. And then we are going to take turns back and forth, either playing one face up in front of us or discarding it face down to the side. And what's going to happen is when we have these cards, we can't say anything on the cards except either the title of the card, if it has a title, or there might be some underlined words in a passage. And you can either say that title or the words that are underlined. They might not be underlined in a group. It might be one word and one word. Like Martin disguised.
And it can be a little misleading, generally.
And it can be misleading.
So you might not want to say what's on the card. But
so, why do you have to play them either face up or face down? There's the catch. If you play a card that does not have any relevance to the current mystery, you're going to lose 1 point per card. You only get a maximum of 20 points. So this might come back to bite you. Now, I cannot say anything to Steph about what I've seen on the cards while I have cards in my hand. She cannot say anything to me about the cards in her hand while she has cards in her hand. Once we have played all the cards and or discarded all the cards that we want to do back and forth, then we can say anything we want about even the cards we've discarded. We can go, oh, well, I have to tell you this. This guy woke up every morning at 6 o'clock. So clearly, he was a morning person. Indubitably. So, if I don't know whether the 6 o'clock thing was important, then maybe I put it face down and just remember it so that we can answer the questions correctly. If I see a location and I'm not sure whether it's important, I can put it over to the side and then say, oh, but wait, there was this clock on the wall that looked exactly like what they're describing or whatever, or the clock on the wall said 4:48. He doesn't wake up till 6 o'clock or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you can remember what's on the card, that's great. But if you have a terrible memory and you think it's important, just play it.
But keep in mind, it might be worth a... Now, things that are relevant that you discard, that's okay. You don't lose points for that. The only points you lose, the only ones you lose point for are the ones you turn face up and have no relevance to the case.
That's right.
So, this one is going to be called The Forgery. So let's go ahead and get these out of the way.
We can leave this right here.
We can leave that one right there. For a minute. Okay. Sherlock Files. The Forgery. The auction room at Sotheby's, London, 29th April, 1887. The attendees enter the auction house and take a seat, whispering among themselves. Someone asks for silence with the tapping of a mallet. Good morning. Everything is ready for the session. The volume of the voices slowly decreases. The renowned appraiser Reginald Webster presides the auction. Thank you, Sir Webster. 3 lots will be auctioned today. Let's start with Lunch by the Pond by Liam Belden. 2 men across the stage unload a massive painting and place its base on the ground. Oh, we'll have to put up spoiler tags when we start, remember? Okay. The starting price will be £120,000. Would you excuse me for a moment, Lady Sotheby? But of course, Sir Webster. The crew holds its breath while Webster inspects the painting. You're supposed to hold your breath. Is something wrong? The attendees start whispering among themselves. This auction must be stopped! Excuse me? This is not Lunch by the Pond. It's a forgery. All right. I think it's time to start the adventure.
It's a forgery.
It's a forgery.
I don't know. It looks pretty good to me.
No. Let the record show it's a forgery. Board game free.
All right, so now we actually will start the game. So
start the game. Lady Softly says.
Put this huge spoiler tag.
Huge spoiler tag. Whoa.
Whoa.
That's big. Oh, now it did. Oh, look. Oh, whoa. Whoa. You know who did it? You. No. Patron del Fuego. My arch nemesis.
Oh my god.
His hair is not as fantastic as mine.
That's true.
Okay.
I think we just leave it on the screen while we can show the cards that we put over here.
Okay.
We're getting good at this, guys. So now we discard like all the cards.
We discard a lot of cards.
We like half the deck.
So yeah, for you guys, it's gonna be just hearing us say, nope.
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 And
hey, how about this one?
And then, like, the interesting part is talking it out at the end. And then you can give us your theories on what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't play. Why? Because...
You called forgery.
You called forgery.
You made this happen.
Yes. Oh. Okay. Bye, everybody. Fist bump. Whoa. All right. There they go. I get 3 cards. Yeah, I sort of need both hands for this.
Oh my goodness.
My cards say James Reddington's office. Lady Sotheby's office.
Whoa.
And James Reddington hospitalized.
Wow. I kind of want to know what the more about James Reddington. So if you have something that maybe helps with that. Mine say James Reddington standing. And this one says insurance policies. And this one says owner of the painting 22nd. So this is the 29th, you said.
29th.
Hey, Dr. Sign. Welcome in.
What did you say?
22nd.
What about the 22nd?
The owner of the painting.
Alexa, flip a coin.
Okay. Heads.
You're first. Dr. Sign, you just missed an epic reading by Senor Azul.
Yeah.
He's not all that great of an actor, but he was Reginald Webster. He called this painting a forgery.
I'm going to discard and draw a new one.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of information.
No, it was none.
So this is what you see. The back of a card. That's all you get to see. You say you want to know about James Reddington, right? No?
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think this is probably... If you want to know about him...
Yes.
James Reddington has been hospitalized for the past 2 days in St. Thomas due to a heart attack. According to the doctor, it could have been caused by a state of extreme distress.
You know, I'm actually going to play this card.
What? My new card is Another Lady Sotheby's Office.
I don't know if it's important to the case, but there's no way I'm going to remember it all. So let's show everybody what it is.
It is Sotheby's Warehouse Auctions.
It's the log of who visited on what days.
All right. Reddington visited on the 20th. See, I don't know what date this is. The hospitalized.
It's true.
All right. So, J. Reddington, R. Reddington on Thursday. R. Webster, Lady Sotheby. There's like an S and an IND. Oh, and spouse maybe?
Yeah, I think...
Spouse and individual?
I think individual is IND. I think that's what it's saying.
But there's an S next to a lot of these.
Right,
so
that's what I'm not sure.
I don't know what the S is versus the IND, but we will find out. So, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday had somebody. Monday had somebody. Thursday had somebody. So, Reddington was either hospitalized between the times or after, right up to the auction time. So, just things to think about. Know what I'm saying?
A home in Leeds? Is that where we are, Leeds? I don't know why that would be important, so come back to it, I guess.
My light here in case I need it.
What did you play tonight, Dr. Sign? This?
Don't look.
T. Reeve visited on the 22nd, and I have a card that says 22nd.
What? At Sotheby's?
No, just all I can tell you is owner of the painting is underlined in 22nd.
Owner of the painting and 22nd. The owner of the painting. I don't know who the owner of this painting was. So T. Reeve must be the owner of the painting.
I like Millie Fiore a lot, Dr. Sign.
It's good. All right, I'm going to discard Lady Sotheby's office, one of them. And my new card says Manager, Keys of the Warehouse. All right.
I can remember.
Yeah, if you guys want to know anything, if you think that it is helpful for the case, let us know. You're just discarding your discard queen, aren't you?
I can remember it.
Yes, I can too.
Whoa.
I'm discarding Manager and Keys to the Warehouse. I'm going to look at it one more time. Yes. Reginald Webster, Best Artists in England. Reginald Webster is Senor Azul.
Okay.
Okay.
This is probably important.
Okay.
But I don't know if it is. But it would explain another card.
Okay. As long as that other card is relevant.
I could probably remember.
Sounds good. Reginald Webster is out. Because that's Senor Azul. One more look. Forgery, common, Paris. That's what this one is.
Performance canceled.
Oh.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know what this has anything to do with anything, so I'm just holding on to it.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow. Not doing anything. I'm going to show this one.
Okay. What is it?
The art dealer declared forgery and illegal sale of art are unfortunately common crimes nowadays. Last November, I saw dusk at Calton Hill in a chateau near Paris, which is strange. I am sure the painting is on English ground. So, if we have somebody with Paris connections, maybe we can find who's doing the forgery. I have one called Rose's Room.
Could be R. Could be R. Webster. No, Roses.
Rose.
Webster is the guy.
Yes, Reginald Webster.
So
Not me.
It could be Rose Reddington.
It could be Rose Reddington.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I got rid of the other Lady Sotheby's office. We've only played 3 cards. We're being awful stingy.
Well, we're being really stingy. I feel like Leeds is in
England.
So this might be important.
Okay.
But it doesn't really... I don't know how it would be important.
I can't help you with that.
A home in Leeds that's what it is.
Okay.
See, it's much easier. So we can discard a whole lot of cards because we see a lot of cards. It's harder with 4 people.
It's harder with 3 and 4 people.
Because you don't know what people are seeing and discarding. And you see less cards.
This Sotheby's Warehouse. I have a Sotheby's Warehouse picture. I can't say it's a picture. I have a Sotheby's Warehouse thing, and I'm going to discard it because I can remember. All right, Sir Webster, center of attention. That's what this says.
All right, we're gonna put this down.
Oh, recently auctioned expensive paintings. June 1885. 35,000 Moonlight Over the Cliffs, Sir William Gloucester, London. March 86. A whole bunch of money. What is it? 105,000? What's the symbol on there? Is that supposed to be pounds? The Shepherd from Coventry. What is that? Something Eonor Reynolds. Something like Leonore, maybe? Reynolds from Manchester. And Dusk at Calton Hill, Henry Harold Leeds. So maybe the original is in Paris. And this is the forgery.
Oh.
See? And this is September. This is November.
But Leeds is which one?
England. I am sure that the painting is on English ground. Do you know what I'm saying?
Dusk at Cabin Hill.
Calton Hill. This. Same. Talking about the same painting. So that's good that you put that there. This is hilarious, and I'm going to show this after everything because it is that hilarious. Yes. Resignation, hostility, nightmare will finally be over. A lot underlined on this.
Scotland Yard, Police Station, Ladies Sotheby.
What? One more time?
Scotland Yard, Police Station, Ladies Sotheby.
Did you play one?
No.
You have not played one. I'm like, you waiting on me? Wow. I think I'm gonna do this one.
James Reddington.
All right. This has gotta be relevant. The chief of logistics declared, Rose Reddington's resignation didn't surprise me. During the past 6 months, there was some hostility between her and her father. At the beginning of the month, I heard James say, yes, this painting is a good one. After this, you'll leave the country and the nightmare will finally be over. Oh, suspicious. Oh, you're just discarding like crazy.
There it is.
Admitting the painting, independent appraiser.
I think I know who that's talking about.
What?
I think I know who that's talking about.
I think I'd probably play it. The day after admitting the painting, it was validated again, this time by an independent appraiser. It's the usual procedure. It's not that we distrust our employees, they're model workers, but we must be completely sure of the authenticity of our lots. Missed 2 weeks abroad. Wow.
Home and Leeds is getting discarded.
Home in Leeds?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope you can remember it.
Yeah.
Lady Sotheby declared Rose missed work for 2 weeks. Now, keep in mind, this tells us two things. Rose works there, and she missed work for 2 weeks because she had the flu. She came back on the 19th. R. Reddington showed up as a visit to Sotheby's warehouse on the 20th. On the 26th, she resigned. The girl had grown bored of London and wanted to try her luck abroad. Her belongings were sent to the port of Liverpool, where she had bought a ticket for America.
Sounds guilty.
Well, either her or her father. But I don't know anything about the independent appraiser or anything. You know.
I know.
A similar incident, and the auction proceeded. Oh.
I think this is probably important. I think this is important.
Documents found at Sotheby's. Admittance date 20th April 1887. Lot name Lunch by the Pond. Admittance James Reddington. Validation James Reddington. Location Warehouse E41. All right, there's a reason that's important. And it turns out he is doing he is admitting the painting and validating it.
Yeah. But that was the 20th.
Yes. That's when he and Rose brought it. And then
he falls ill or something.
And then him saying, yes, this painting is a good one. After this, you'll leave the country and the nightmare will be over. And so he was stressed out, had a heart attack, etc. I am going to show this one.
Okay.
Last September, we had a similar incident. James Reddington questioned the authenticity of a painting that was being auctioned. He whispered something about the flowers. It was just a false alarm. He validated the picture, and the auction proceeded normally.
Did not attend the auction.
Okay. I see one here says Reginald Webster, actor.
Yeah, I understand that.
I can't hold these forever.
Yeah, we're coming down to it. I got 2 left. And I'm gonna get rid of that.
And that.
And this one I've been holding since the first draw, and I still don't know if I should play it, so maybe I should just play it.
Yeah.
But I could probably...
It's only 1 point. Famous last words.
Okay.
All right. So, what do you know?
Okay, so...
About a month and a half ago, the warehouse lost the key. The warehouse manager lost the keys. And so they had the lock replaced, and now those keys are not getting out of his sight.
They hired...
I actually saw the warehouse, by the way.
They hired, what's his face?
Reddington.
No.
Webster.
Where is it? T...
Reeve.
No.
Oh, S?
Webster. Webster.
That's what... Reginald Webster.
Yes.
S means staff.
Yeah, they hired him the day before the auction.
They hired him because Reddington fell ill.
Yeah, so he was recently hired.
So, yeah, Reginald Webster was like art teacher and in Paris, and a lot of the famous artists come through he's taught by, he teaches a lot of famous artists. So he has a twin brother, Senor Azul. He has a twin brother, not Patron del Fuego. He has a twin brother who is an actor who plays Hamlet.
Yeah, and that was canceled.
Hamlet was canceled?
It was canceled due to something happening. The lead,
his twin brother,
was indisposable.
So what's happening is like his brother doing something nefarious?
That or I don't know.
Once we see the questions, we sometimes change our minds about things.
I know. And so that's weird. The daughter
Rose.
She's been working with James as like apprentices for 4 years at the place.
Right.
I saw the home in Leeds had that painting. That's
one of these 3.
It had that painting. Yeah. It says Leeds down there too.
That's probably Dusk at Calton Hill.
No, that's the
Moonlight Over the Cliffs.
Yeah. That's the Cabin Hill. Yeah.
Well, that was from London, though. I don't know. Anyway, I had a picture of Rose's room.
Mm-hmm.
It had basically there was a painting of who I assumed to be Rose. Was holding a little mirror or something compact or whatever, and there was a mirror behind her that showed like a guy in a top hat, but it was just sort of fuzzy. And there were flowers in that picture. So remember the thing about the flowers, someone, he questioned the authenticity of a painting. He whispered something about the flowers, but it was just a false alarm, and he validated the picture. That wasn't the main thing that got me going. There was also a picture of James Reddington's office. Mm-hmm. Had a picture of himself. It looked, I'm guessing it's himself. And in the lower left-hand corner, it said RR. Rose Reddington.
Yeah. Is
she painting these forgeries?
Likely, because she's an artist.
There you go.
Okay.
So.
That would make sense. So the owner of the painting, I had a lot of information about him. He submitted it on April 3rd, and it only got back to him saying that the auction was going to be whenever it was. That was on the 20th, so it took a really long time to get that process, but it makes sense because
Rose had the flu, and then
the mother had the flu the week before that, and so everybody was catching this flu, I think, going around town. And
by the time they felt better, James and Rose appeared on the 20th. Webster was an independent guy, and he came in the day after admitting the painting. It was validated again by Webster. It's not the usual procedure. It's not that we distrust them, they're model workers, but we must be completely sure. So here's the thing, though. The day after admitting the painting, Webster validated it again and then said it was a forgery.
So the first time James validated it, right? James validated it the first time. So if we think all these are forgeries, he's working with Rose.
Yes. So here's the thing.
To sell the fake ones.
Remember, she is going to America.
Yeah.
Inside Sotheby's warehouse, there were shelves with crates on it.
Yeah.
On the middle was an Egypt crate, and it said fragile. On the left of that, it said France. To the right of that and below it, it said UK. On the top of it was a big crate that said America or USA with a lock on it.
She's sounding pretty guilty.
I bet you she got in, and after, on the 25th, James and Rose came in on the 25th.
Together.
After it was appraised by Webster, they swapped them. After Webster did it, and otherwise, why would Webster know that this was a forgery? That's what's happened. They swapped it out on the 25th.
Sounds good. I think we should go through the list.
I think we should go through the list. All right, so there are 10 questions, multiple choice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Are you ready?
Yes.
Everybody? How did Reginald Webster know that the painting was a forgery? A, due to a reflection on the water. B, he saw something odd in the picnic. C, he saw something odd about the woman, or he lied. Time out.
He could have lied if he swapped the painting. I'm not convinced.
If he swapped the painting, but that's the thing.
Maybe she was working with him instead of James. What if we have it wrong?
Time out. Here's the thing. And this is going to turn things on its head. Somebody said that when Reginald discovered it was a forgery, he was very composed. This is the card that everyone's going to laugh at. He was very composed when he found out, but he likes being the center of attention. Is that not Senor Azul?
It is.
That's totally Senor Azul. So, is it his brother? And he's lying about all this?
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to say reflection on the water, picnic, or woman. I can only mention that he lied. Let's read through all the rest of the questions, and that may change things. Who forged Lunch by the Pond? An employee of Sotheby's, its owner, an acquaintance of Webster's, or no one?
I would say an employee. I think it's the girl.
An employee of Sotheby's would be the girl.
But
when was the painting forged? Is one of them. Where's the original painting? On a ship, in mansion, in France, in Sotheby's. If we think she's taken it, it's on a ship. When did the forgery arrive at Sotheby's? The 25th, if we believe that.
If we think it was him, it would be the 22nd.
I mean, Webster could be in on it too. I don't know. Why was James Reddington so anxious? He was involved in a crime. He argued with Lady Sotheby. His daughter had run away. He was under financial strain. Which one of the following characters attended the auction of Lunch by the Pond? Rose Reddington, the owner of the painting, Reginald Webster, or Reginald Webster's twin brother?
The owner of the painting wasn't at the auction, so I know that was true.
What's the conflict that generated so much hostility between James and Rose? The secret love affair? Rose complained that her father did not support her artistically. She pressured him to betray his principles, or James was not her real father. I don't know any of those. You might know something about that. 9, there's another forged painting in this case. Where is it kept? In Henry Harold's office, in a chateau near Paris, in Lady Sotheby's office, in none of the above.
Wow.
The other forged painting would be...
I assume it's this one.
Dusk at Calton Hill.
I assume it's because that's the only one.
That's the other forged painting in this case.
Yeah, I would think so.
So, is it in a chateau near Paris?
No.
If this is the forgery, then it is the one near Paris. Last November, I saw Dusk at Calton Hill in a chateau near Paris, which is strange. I'm sure it's on English ground. Who passed on the flu to Rose Reddington? Her lover?
Mother.
Her lover? Her father? No one, or it is irrelevant to this case. If you think it's her mother...
Oh, no, because Reddington... No. The Shosby, the Lady Shosby, had it before.
Sotheby.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Had the flu?
Yeah.
Then it would be, it is irrelevant to the case.
Yeah.
Because unless Lady Sotheby is her lover, and it's not her father, and it's not no one, so are you saying irrelevant?
Yeah, I would say it's irrelevant.
All right, are we going to stick with the theory that she's got the forged painting?
Which one do you like best? Or do you like the brother, or do you want to go with the daughter? I could go either way, is the problem. I don't know. I can't remember one critical detail would be like, oh, is this what's happened?
See, I'm not certain. It could be just straightforward Reginald Webster and not the twin brother. That might be a red herring.
It could be. Because I'm like, oh, a play? Who cares?
Except...
Right. He wasn't at the play.
But I don't think he's in on it.
He wasn't, yeah.
So I think Reginald Webster was indeed there. Despite the fact he was composed, despite the fact he likes to be the center of attention, he's a teacher. He's a teacher anyway. He's not got a problem being in front of people. Plus, twins, they a lot of times have a lot of things in common.
Let's go with the girl. See, all of science points, she's an artist. She's doing it.
How did he know that the painting was a forgery? Reflection on the water, odd in the picnic. Saw something odd about the woman, or he lied. Who forged it? An employee.
Yeah.
When was the painting forged? Before the 3rd, between the 3rd and the 20th, between the 20th and 29th, or there was no forgery?
I think between the 3rd and the what? 20th, I guess.
3rd and the 20th. Unless the plan is, and I doubt this, I don't think the plan is Reginald Webster's brother came in, pretended to be him, said that this painting was a forgery in the hopes to eventually take it away later. There's got to be some reason that James Reddington was anxious.
He's anxious because he's guilty.
So I don't think that James and Rose are hostile to each other because she complained that her father didn't support her artistically. I think it was that she pressured him to betray his principles and steal those keys so that they could swap things out. So do we think that the forged painting is in a chateau near Paris? I think so.
Not on the ship?
No, another forged painting.
Yeah, okay.
I think the original painting is on a ship.
Yeah.
Because of what we saw because of what I saw in the picture. The forgery arrived on the 25th. Oh. This might be important. All right. I have to say, I think the flu is relevant. And I think no one passed it to her. It took her that long to create
paint the painting. The forge. Because it happened during that time.
When did because here's the thing. When was the painting forged? Between the 3rd and the 20th.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the 2 weeks she was gone.
She was out, yeah. She
didn't have the flu.
Yeah.
She didn't have the flu.
I
she
like
said
that.
she had the flu.
Yep. I'm like, I don't know how she made the painting if she had the flu, but yeah.
She didn't have the flu.
Exactly. I mean, it makes sense. So
she's painting it, and she painted the forgery.
Yes.
We're going to do so good on this one.
Hopefully.
So, why was he so anxious? He was involved in a crime. It's not he argued with Lady Sotheby. It's not his daughter had run away. And it's not that he was under a financial strain. None of that. Unless you know something I don't.
You missed one.
I'm working on one right now. How did he know the painting was a forgery?
I do think there was some debt, but I'm trying to remember that.
Last September, there was a similar incident. He questioned whispered something about the flowers. Maybe it's the flowers in the picnic.
In the basket?
Maybe she can't draw flowers well.
Could be.
That's all we have to go on. If nothing else, he saw something odd in the picnic.
Yeah.
With the absence of anything else, that's what we have to go with. We did miss one.
I have a feeling James was in debt, but I can't pinpoint it. So we could be.
I didn't see anything about it.
I know, and I think I saw something about it. I'm like, I don't remember that. No. But
I don't remember it. So this is what we have. How did Reginald Webster know that the painting was a forgery? He saw something odd in the picnic. Who forged Lunch by the Pond? An employee of Sotheby's. When was the painting forged? Between the 3rd and the 20th. Where's the original painting? On a ship. When did the forgery arrive at Sotheby's? The 25th. Wait a second. Her belongings were sent to the port of Liverpool, where she had bought a ticket for America. Okay. Why was James Reddington so anxious? He was involved in a crime. Who attended the auction? Reginald Webster. What's the conflict that generated so much hostility? She pressured him. There's another forged painting in this case. Where's it kept? The chateau. Who passed on the flu? No one. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
B, A, B, A, C. A, C, C, A, C. We missed one.
Whoa.
No.
What was that?
Where is the forged painting? It's in Henry Harold's house.
The Leeds, wherever.
That's the original. This is the original And that one is the Paris is the Forgery.
I mean, I knew that this one was in Leeds. I just didn't know if it was the Forgery or if it was real.
That's the point, is that I figured the auctioned one was the one that was false. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The recently auctioned one.
Yeah.
I thought that maybe Rose had gotten away with that too. So, we missed one. 2 points for every correct answer is 18 points.
That's pretty good.
And I'm going to take a quick look at whether we have any cards in our tableau that do not line up. All right. It's easiest if you put them in numerical order. 3, 8, 10, 13, 22, 24, 28, 32, 30, 32 rather. Now I'm going to call them off and we lose points if we put these up there. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 14, 15, 17, 20, 25, 26, 27, 29, 31. Nothing. 18 points.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
That is Sherlock Holmes again. Excellent. You are one of a kind.
Don't you want to read the story, though?
Well, of course we are. I'm showing the points.
Okay.
I do the points first. I do the points first. That's what we do. All right. You can go to the overhead to show what we know. And I'm going to put these in order. Because that way, when I'm reading these, I can put the cards down to show what we should have known. 9, 12, 18, 15. We got a 27, we got a 31. We got a 7, 6, 4, 2. 12 off in here. They're by threes. The whole lineup here. 11, 14, 5, 21, 19, 17, 23, 16.
Here, give me the cards and I'll find the money.
No, I got it. Irrelevant things. Reginald Webster teaches art history. At the School of Fine Arts, some of the best artists in England have been his pupils. Ditched it, could remember it. All right, and showing the reasoning behind why we ditched these. When Scotland Yard agents tried to take the painting to the police station, Lady Sotheby insisted that the artwork should remain at the auction house until the mystery had been cleared up. That one is considered irrelevant. Reginald Webster, the renowned appraiser, is the twin brother of a popular actor who plays Hamlet at a theater on the West End. The chief of logistics declared, Sir Webster seemed surprised when he discovered the forgery, but he managed to keep his composure. You could say that he enjoyed being the center of attention. Why would you say that? Because, I mean, come on, you like being the center of attention. Let the record show. Maybe. All right. So that's pretty funny. Sotheby's warehouse? No. Why is this irrelevant? That's clearly relevant. I disagree. You see it?
Yeah.
You see the USA? You see the lock on the top?
Yep.
I think it is totally relevant. I don't know why that's considered irrelevant. The warehouse manager declared a month and a half ago the keys of the warehouse disappeared. We had to order a new lock. Since then, I don't let the keys out of my sight even for a second. Fortunately, I didn't put that down. Because if I had, we would have been wrong, because I don't think that the lock had anything to do with it.
I guess not.
The owner of the painting did not attend the auction. Irrelevant. The owner of the painting visited Sotheby's on the 22nd to see it for the last time. I entered the warehouse with him, but he asked to be left alone with the artwork. The visit didn't last more than 5 minutes. Irrelevant. Lady Sotheby missed work for 5 days because at the end of March, she had the flu. Irrelevant.
These are all my discards.
Lady Sotheby's office has Bank of England. Irrelevant. That one was one of mine. 21, 23. To protect itself against potential burglary, Sotheby's buys insurance policies for the lots that enter its warehouse, no matter how short of time the pieces are kept. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Lunch by the Pond had a lot of sentimental value to its owner. He only decided to sell it when he was overwhelmed by debts. Fortunately, you remembered it because it is irrelevant.
Well, I knew there was something about debts, but I'm like...
I was hoping this was irrelevant. I did remember 10:30 because it's about 10:30 here. So I looked at the clock so I could remind myself. And the painting was somewhat unremarkable. I did not see anything on it, so irrelevant. According to official sources, yesterday's performance of Hamlet had to be canceled due to the indisposition of the leading actor. Irrelevant. Last but not least, Lady Sotheby declared, "We have hired Reginald Webster on previous occasions. He's an associate of my utmost confidence." Irrelevant. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 irrelevant cards.
That's a lot.
If you put down every card on the table, you get a whopping 5 points if you get everything correct.
Yeah.
And that's a risk.
Well,
so,
that's a fair number of cards. Like, I feel like that's more than most times.
How many could we have put down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 7 more. We had 9 up. We're really getting we're getting better at this.
Yeah.
Clearly getting better at this.
Yeah.
Because these 7 are relevant that we did not put. In September 1886, while dusk at Calton Hill was being auctioned, the renowned appraiser James Reddington 16
This is one I had the whole time.
realized that the painting was a forgery. James Reddington is a famous and renowned appraiser. Sotheby's hired him, as well as his daughter, who works as his assistant for 4 years ago to improve its standing and encourage the public's trust. Clearly relevant. He realized that the painting was a forgery. 10. That's the similar incident. Blah, blah, blah. The flowers, false alarm, etc. 1 rose on the picture was the personal signature of his daughter's artworks. 19 and 23. 19 and 23. Oh, there's 1 rose.
Check it. There's 1 rose here.
And look, 1 rose on... Look, 1 rose here. That's why. So, Steph had this in a home in Leeds, and that would have given us the perfect score.
Sorry.
If we had seen the 1 rose on a home in Leeds.
I knew that it had only 1 rose. I didn't put it together that her name was Rose and that there was one red rose on this painting here. Like, I didn't.
Oh, I didn't see the red rose there. I thought that was something else.
No, it's a flower basket.
There you go. There's the flower.
1 rose. Woo!
This is a forgery. Of course, now.
Wow.
It's so good. So good.
Well, I'm like, okay, there is 1 rose on this painting in Leeds, so that's why I was like, it's weird.
And this one,
I couldn't see because it's not in color.
And this one might not have it because I don't see a little black dot there.
Well,
a grayish
it's
black
covered
dot.
up by the
It is a little
folder.
covered up. After considering whether to denounce her or to carry on with the scam, James decided on the latter. The painting was sold to Henry Harold, 11 and 13. That was the recently auctioned paintings, and number 11 is in a home in Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
Even though a witness claims to have seen the original in Paris. Ta-da.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, the hostility between father and daughter has been tangible. This one right here. James became an accomplice when he decided to protect her, which also allowed Rose to demand his help for a second time. They agreed to make a second and final forgery when the next expensive painting came by. 13, the recently auctioned paintings, and 32, the Nightmare Finally Be Over card. On the 3rd of April, the owner of the valuable Lunch by the Pond contacted James Reddington because he wanted to auction the artwork. 21. That one says, the owner of the painting declared on the 3rd of April, I contacted James Reddington to initiate the paperwork for the auction. He and his assistant picked up the painting on the 5th, but the process must be slow. I wasn't informed about the date of the auction until the 20th. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remembered that one, so.
Yep. Yeah, James and Rose picked it up, but they didn't bring it till Sotheby's till the 20th. Number 8. You know why? Because they had the paintings side by side. How's that? And she forged it. In the meantime, the girl skilled enough with the brush, number 12, which says, Lady Sotheby declared Rose Reddington is an art enthusiast. Just like her father, she's trying to carve out a career as a painter. The girl is good, really good, but her work isn't exactly successful. That's why she turned to the dark side.
Look, there's no red rose in that.
Oh, clearly. Whoa, wait a second. Look at that. Wow, that's clearly it. Why did I not think to match it up against that? I was like, it has to be the flowers,
and
right?
I was trying to do that here, and I'm like, yeah, it had to be the flowers.
Because of the thing that said that it must have been, there's something wrong with the flowers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the meantime, the girl skilled enough with the brush had time to produce a forgery while she missed work, pretending she was ill. 24. As they knew that an independent appraiser would have to validate the painting. 28. They brought the original on the 20th and they did not exchange it until the 25th. Number 3. They knew an independent guy would come. So, they did not exchange it until the 25th. After that, Rose resigned and ran away to America with the loot. Due to the distress that caused by the involvement in a crime that could ruin his career, James suffered a heart attack and had to be hospitalized. 22. The auction house hired a substitute. 18, which was this. The appraiser in the auction registrant, Reginald Webster, was hired yesterday, who just before starting the session informed the crowd about the scam, leading to an unprecedented scandal. The end. Now, if you're playing the solo game, you have 6 cards in hand. When discarding, make 2 piles, a final pile and a temporary pile. When the deck runs out of cards, if the final discard pile has at least 6 cards, shuffle the temporary pile, turn it into a new deck. From that moment on, you can only discard to the final discard pile. Basically, you get to see everything twice. So, that was it.
That's fun. I like that one a lot.
I like that one a lot too.
I do think they're getting better as we go.
I think
I really like the series.
They're doing a really good job with these, leaving out just enough information, but making sure that you have enough dots to connect. There was nothing that said she lied about the flu, but if you think about it, she was gone during these days. He gave the painting during these days. She must have forged it. You know what I'm saying? And she knows how to paint.
Yeah.
So, and you knew just enough, and I knew just enough to make informed decisions about all of those. Someday we'll hit 20, and then we'll frame it like we did. I don't know.
We have to get good enough to have exactly the right cards.
We need exactly the right cards. Do we get bonus points for that? Indy, do we get it?
Should.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah. I love the Sherlock Files. I think they're great.
All of them feel quite similar to me. Not that I mean that they follow the same pattern, because they don't do that at all. I think that the difficulty level seems to be really consistent. I'll make sure to shuffle those really well.
They're going to shuffle whoever plays it next.
No, make sure to shuffle them.
Okay.
Or put them in order, either one. Elementary, my dear, said Diner. How you doing, Diner? So,
there was one that was really hard.
And we were all over the place. So we scored
there's been some that were really hard. but I feel like maybe either we're getting better at them or they're getting a little bit better at providing enough information on a card or something that they're... I don't know. I like it. Either way.
Okay, so with a lot of the escape games, right, or solve the mystery games, I think a lot of publishers / mystery designers, I think they try to get a bit too cute with it, and they put in they put in a lot of things. Aha, sort of gotcha, whatever. They don't. Sherlock Files to me does not seem to put in. They don't put in things that are just there to get you. Now the thing with the, if you follow that twin brother path,
I could have been convinced of that.
You could have been convinced, but they put in just enough so you're like, no, there is a clear enough reason.
Yeah, for the other way. So
yes,
I do like that.
I like that a lot.
But if you were to say the brother did it, I'd be like, I believe it.
But okay, if you say he did it, how'd he get out with it?
Exactly. He had the keys. He stole them previously. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, but we didn't have any clues with that.
Yeah, I know.
I just think that they don't try to get all sneaky, fancy schmancy, sort of undercover. Anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that they are straightforward.
It's great.
They're straightforward enough so that you can at least do reasonably well.
Yeah, play it.
I do want to play this, not this exact one, obviously, but I do want to play this game with 3 people to see how much different it is. Maybe with 4 people and see how different it is.
I'd probably, now that I think, yeah, we have fewer information, but I feel like I would still discard the same amount of cards.
I think so too. Because I could remember the things I still need to remember. That's the key. I think that was the hardest thing to figure out with Sherlock Files. Don't be afraid to discard if you can remember it. Remember, we don't get points taken off for things that are relevant that we discard. Those are fine.
Right.
You don't want to have irrelevance show up. So when in doubt, discard.
Or things with like a lot of information, like who entered the warehouse when. It's like you're not going to remember all that, so play
But if you exactly. But if you discard all the things with roses on it, like all the paintings, oh, it's a painting, throw away. No, that was relevant.
Yeah.
And I threw them away.
I'm like, I can remember it was this painting.
But I did remember he had a flower on his.
I remember there was a red rose in the painting, but it's like I didn't realize it was relevant.
You could have let us have 20.
Well, no, you had 2 of the other ones with red roses on it. You could have easily have seen
I did not see the rose on roses painting until it was pointed out. That's a mistake. Still.
I love it. Definitely check out the Sherlock Files.
6 volumes, guys.
I've played a ton of them at this point.
18. Okay, so let's say you buy all 6 of these. That's 18 of these long adventures to do. And that's 18
hours. I mean, it's an hour.
That's a good hour.
Yeah. No, it's so much fun. It's really a lot of fun.
And then they do a really good job with that story at the end to stitch. Here's all the trail. I still think that USA crate, I think that was legit. I would not count off for that because she escaped with that painting.
I agree.
I would not. If I had seen that, I would not take off a point for that. Hey, Heartboard Games, rating with a party of 11. Woo!
We're going to cut. We're not leaving yet. We'll be right back.
Be right back.
We love this game. We're going to come back and talk about it a little bit.